Have you ever heard that giants once roamed the earth? The Bible mentions these colossal beings in a way that's both astonishing and mysterious. But there's a hidden truth about the Nephilim that goes beyond ancient tales, a secret that could reshape how you view history, and even what's to come. In this video, we'll uncover the most compelling evidence about these biblical giants, who they were, their origins, and why they still matter today. We'll explore hidden truths, intriguing theories, and their possible connection to the end times. Stick around until the end for a surprising link between these ancient giants and our modern world, a revelation that might change how you read the Bible forever. Let's dive into the enigma of the Nephilim, beings mentioned in one of the Bible's most cryptic passages. Genesis 6:24 states, "The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of men and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown." This verse raises profound questions. Who were these sons of God? How did their offspring become the mighty giants described? The term Nephilim, often translated as fallen ones, hints at a dark origin. Many scholars suggest the sons of God were fallen angels who defied divine boundaries by uniting with human women, creating a fearsome lineage. Were these giants real, or are they symbolic? Did they truly shape humanity's past? Picture a world steeped in chaos and corruption. Genesis 6:5 describes it vividly. "The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time." The Nephilim's presence amplified this moral decay, symbolizing a creation gone astray. But what happened to them during the Great Flood? Were they completely eradicated, or did their legacy endure? The phrase, "and also afterward," in Genesis 6:4, suggests their influence might have persisted. Let's explore this mystery further, examining the giants before and after God's judgment in the flood. The flood was a cataclysmic reset, meant to cleanse the earth. Genesis 7:23 declares, "Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. Only Noah and those with him in the ark survived." This implies the Nephilim should have vanished. Yet, the Bible later mentions giants again, raising a perplexing question. Numbers 13:33 recounts the spies' report from the Promised Land. "We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." How could giants reappear after the flood? One theory suggests their lineage survived through Ham, one of Noah's sons, possibly carrying the corruption of the pre-flood world. Let's dig deeper into these post-flood giants and their tribes. As the Israelites approached the Promised Land, they faced formidable foes, tribes of giants scattered across the region. Deuteronomy 2:10-11 mentions the Emites and Zamzumites, described as a people strong and numerous, and as tall as the Anakites. These tribes weren't just tall, they were a spiritual and physical challenge to God's plan for Israel. Joshua 11:21-22 notes, "Joshua went and destroyed the Anakites from the hill country. He totally destroyed them and their towns." These giants, like the Anakites, occupied strategic areas like Canaan and Bashan, with fortified cities described in Numbers 13:28 as large, with walls up to the sky. Their presence turned the Promised Land into a battleground, both earthly and divine. Among these giants, one figure stands out: Og, the king of Bashan. Deuteronomy 3:11 provides a striking detail. Og, king of Bashan, was the last of the Rephates. His bed was made of iron and was more than 9 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. That's roughly 13.5 feet long and 6 feet wide, a bed for a true giant. Og ruled Bashan, a fertile region promised to Israel, and his defeat, described in Joshua 12:4-6, was a pivotal victory. It wasn't just about conquest. It symbolized God's triumph over forces opposing his covenant. Why does the Bible emphasize Og? He represents the persistent challenge of the giants, both physically and spiritually. The most famous giant in Scripture is undoubtedly Goliath. 1 Samuel 17:4 introduces him. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. That's about 9.5 feet tall, a towering warrior who terrified Israel's army. Goliath wasn't alone. 2 Samuel 21:15-22 mentions his brothers, including one with 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, highlighting their extraordinary nature. David's victory over Goliath, armed only with a sling and faith, was more than a physical triumph. It showed that God's power overcomes even the mightiest foes. This battle underscores the ongoing struggle between God's people and the giant's legacy. Giants aren't unique to the Bible. Cultures worldwide tell of massive beings. Greek mythology speaks of titans battling the gods. Norse legends describe the Jotnar, colossal figures at the world's edges. Native American tales recount giants roaming ancient lands. Could these stories echo a shared truth? Archaeological finds, like megalithic structures at Stonehenge or Baalbek, fuel speculation about giants' involvement due to the massive stones used. Reports of oversized skeletons, though often disputed, keep the mystery alive. Were these the remains of Nephilim descendants, or are they misinterpretations? The Bible affirms giants' existence, but their full story remains elusive. So what happened to these giants? Joshua 11:21-22 states that Joshua totally destroyed the Anakites, suggesting their eradication. Later battles, like David's against Goliath and his kin, indicate remnants persisted, but dwindled over time. Were they wiped out, absorbed into other populations, or lost to history? The Bible portrays them as a threat to God's plan, their destruction necessary for Israel's establishment. Yet, their legacy lingers in myths and archaeological enigmas. Could traces of the Nephilim still exist today, hidden in remote regions or preserved in cultural stories? Some modern theories propose giants might still exist, concealed in isolated areas, or documented in secret archives. Others speculate their DNA could persist in unusually tall populations. Megalithic sites continue to spark questions. Could giants have built them? More importantly, giants symbolize opposition to God's will. Matthew 24:37 warns, "As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man." This suggests conditions similar to the Nephilim's era could return in the end times, perhaps through spiritual corruption or even scientific tampering, like genetic manipulation. Could humanity repeat the sins of the past? The giant story isn't just about ancient history. It's a reminder of the ongoing battle between good and evil. Their presence challenged God's people, just as we face challenges today. What are the giants in your life? Fears, doubts, or obstacles that seem unbeatable? The Bible shows that faith, like David's, can overcome even the greatest foes. These stories call us to trust in God's power and align with His plan. As we reflect on these ancient giants, consider this. Their story is a mirror for our own spiritual battles. The Nephilim, Anakites, Og, and Goliath weren't just physical threats. They represented rebellion against God's purpose. Today, we face modern giants' temptations, societal pressures, or personal struggles that try to pull us away from faith. Just as Israel confronted these towering foes, we're called to stand firm, trusting in God's strength. Think about 2 Corinthians 10 out on ports. 10:4-5, which says, "The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. They have divine power to demolish strongholds." This reminds us that our battles, like those against the giants, are won through faith and obedience to God. What does this mean for us now? The Bible's warning about the days of Noah in Matthew 24:37 challenges us to stay vigilant. Are we seeing echoes of that ancient corruption today, perhaps, in the pursuit of power, knowledge, or technologies that defy God's natural order? The giant's legacy teaches us to guard our hearts against anything that opposes God's will. Every one of us faces giants, whether they're doubts about our purpose, fears about the future, or challenges that seem insurmountable. Yet, just as David faced Goliath with a sling and unwavering trust, we can overcome with God's guidance. I invite you to pause and reflect. What giants are you facing today? Are there obstacles keeping you from God's path? The Bible assures us that no giant is too big when we rely on Him. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and join us as we uncover more biblical mysteries that strengthen our faith. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement to face their own giants. Together, let's dive deeper into Scripture, finding truths that equip us to stand strong in a world full of challenges. Let's keep exploring these incredible stories, trusting that God's power is greater than any giant past, present, or future.